Hey everyone. So welcome to this new series, Rising from Iron. Very experimental, see how this goes. I'm not going to walk through every little bit of the replay, but just want to check out and let's see some of the highlights. So I'm playing Zed against an Arc Shen. Just mindset-wise, haven't played it in a very long time. I had been watching a couple of videos from Skill Capped. Yeah, going into this first game, I don't know why I had so much anxiety, either just because of the nerves being like, oh man, it's ranked and you haven't done it in a long time and got all this information. The Skill Cap videos told me was an assassin, you want to stay healthy, you want to wait until you're level 3 to then go in. So I was trying to make sure I wasn't taking any damage, see if I could last hit, try to come up if I can, if they're not going to do anything. Low elos will do. Okay, cool. Level 3. Let's go. Oh. Yeah. If you saw that, I activated my Eve. Little misclick there. Let's get an instant replay of that. Can we even slow it down? Yeah, there it is. Here, let one more time, just to really embarrass me. Boom, level 3. Boom, E. Then the W. And then I'm like, ah, crap. So of course he pokes me out there, which as he should, because as you can see I'm like so focused. But I thought that was a pretty good trade. Threw my W out, E'd so he'd be slowed, and then threw my Q to hit him. So it's like, okay, we got a little poke on him. So I want to say that's pretty good. I'm like so into, I got a W E him. Is this where okay. Yep, I did it again. I E'd first instead of W. Oh, because my W wasn't up yet. Keep an eye on it. Got 3 seconds, and I start going up, and I got 2 seconds. That's why I was like, I still had 2 seconds left. So there he goes. Harasses me. If anything, by now I should have retreated. I should have done a bad recall, come back, try to reset it. But no, instead, I'm making the mistake of, oh, I'm just going to stick around, collect the experience, see if I can harass him even more. But at this point, yeah, it's pretty much lost. My jungler calls, he wants to go in, but I pinged him not to because I'm really low. I can't follow up on him. But he scares him away. And then you're probably thinking, oh, well, there you go, you're finally going to recall. Nope. I'm going to be stupid again and think, well, he's still pushing. I don't want to get a level disadvantage, so I should stay. And he aggressively goes in, which this might have been a careful moment here. But he decides to recall as well. So finally, we recall, both of us. Yeah, I'm only at 25 CS, he's at 40, so he's beating me. He rushes back and right away gets a plated steel caps, but I don't know what a challenger from skill cap would say about that. Normally you don't want to rush boots right away. Now that I've come back in, and at the very least I got a Dirk, the wave's pushing, so I knew I can't just all in him. And then here I decided, okay, I'm going to go all in. Now I get his flash. And I thought, okay, cool, yeah, there we go. He's respecting me. And all I gotta do is just keep waiting. Try to stay healthy. But I try to go in again. So I think that should have showed me. And I think this is when I looked and I'm like, oh, that's why I wasn't dealing as much damage. So that's why, in the end, it was a good buy for him, and why I should have been paying more attention to what he got and realized, okay, he's kind of winning the lane with more CS, and I should have tried to poke him down a little more before all-inning him. And obviously, all-inning him with my ultimate while he was at full health was not the brightest thing to do. He's just about full health, and I decide I missed both of my Qs, and I'm like, you know what, I'm going to commit to it. And then do like no damage, so by the time my ultimate goes off, he's only maybe at half health, but now he's potioning up. 2 potions. Which then ultimately it's like, okay, I'm not going to be able to deal as much damage to him, so Yeah. Definitely a big mistake there. Should have just stayed back, kept poking him from a distance until he was low enough, and then all in him. Okay, so I come back, and I decided to at least get some boots. Because again, I'm behind. He's got twice as much CS. Now here I wasn't sure, should I push the wave or should I just freeze the wave? But I figured, well, might as well just try to stay in lane, try to keep harassing him. I got a nice WE, and then both of my Qs landed, proccing my electrocute, so did some real good damage to him. So I missed that combo. He of course comes up. And this was my first time playing against an Arkshan, so I had no idea what his abilities were like. This was completely... I think that... yeah, you're probably like, what in the heck are you doing? That, I believe, was a misclick. That I'm like, okay, I'm going to W, E, Q, all that, but I think I double-clicked my E, obviously, since I swapped places. And he's probably like, what in the world is this Zed doing? He is trying to troll and give me a kill. And then I was like, what is this? But he did not anticipate that nullifying orb. And again, my jungler kept trying to help me, but he just kept coming at a bad time when I was low. Okay, so now my jungler really wants to try. So here I try to land a combo. Now, again, I thought my jungler was literally right there, but no, he goes and gets Scuttler and baits me in. So I go hard in there, and I'm like, wow. Yeah. Because I saw my jungler, I'm like, okay, now I'm finally full health. A jungler is here to try and help me with the gank. But I probably should have realized that there was no way my jungler was going to get all the way up there. Stop him. I've got no hard CC. So yeah, I was trying my best to keep up in CS, which I am surprised. I thought I was a lot worse. We managed to get Dragon, but that's where I was like, well, this is clearly not a good fight at all. They had a bunch of their team there, so I did back off. I should have just stayed in the mid lane, trying to push it. But no, of course I tried to kind of follow just to see what would happen. At this point, I was afraid of him. I mean, I did look, and it's like, oh crap, he's already got his mythic. I haven't even started my first mythic, and I don't even have my level 2 boots. I do wonder if a challenger would say, dude, go in, you could totally beat him, but I don't know. He was so far ahead in gold. He had 5-0 kills. I saw him, like, okay, Caitlyn's really low, oh, got him, but then I'm like, fighting Yi, that's not a good idea. I tried to look and see if jungle camp was there or about to come back up, but it wasn't, so then I'm like, what am I gonna do? I don't have a tower anymore. So, he pushed the wave, so I'm like, okay, I'll grab the wave. And that's what Skill Cap just kept saying, keep farming, keep trying to get your farm back up. And that's what I was primarily trying to focus on. Yeah, this is where I just was not sure what I should be doing. And maybe it was just I was too scared and not paying attention. It's like, you got 3 bot, 1 is up there, and Yi's there. I should have just kept pushing, now that I look at it. Because I clearly see where their whole team is right now. And so I should have stayed, I should have just kept pushing and kept trying to damage this tower. But instead, I backed up. But again, I guess just mentally I kept thinking like, well, I'm so far behind. There's no way my character is good. All I gotta do is just keep pushing, keep pushing, keep pushing. It's all about the lane objectives. Now, I probably could have fought her, but it was good I didn't because Arkshan showed up. I just kept trying to play it safe, thinking there's no way I can win these fights. so I just need to find a lane and fight, or push the wave. Here I thought 2v1. I go in hard on her. But clearly that did not work out. So, just like my advice always was, it's like keep trying to push lanes. But this is where I thought like, okay, I do remember them saying split pushing. So immediately I look down and I'm like, oh, okay, this lane's gonna push. I'm like, okay, I'm gonna throw up some wards, see if anyone's nearby. Okay, I see Yi. I then decided he's probably gonna push out that bottom, so I'm gonna see if I can come up here and help out Sivir with Caitlyn. Just wait for her, but no, she comes up. I'm like, okay. When she E'd, I then kept going hard on her, super hard. She screwed up her Q, it looks like, and I'm like, okay, cool, finally. It's like, oh boy, Yi really wants my ass. So, of course, I look bottom, I'm like, okay, it should be safe. Farm bottom, they've got 3 top. Last I saw, Yi was going into this jungle. Yi being super aggressive. So I'm like, okay, yeah, I can split push. Now here I'm looking at it like, okay, we just got a kill on Yi, and they still had 3 people top. The only person I didn't know where was Caitlyn. So, at least I'm hoping that's what I was thinking, because I'm like, okay, I'll push. Skill cap said, keep pushing, keep pushing. So yeah, I kept pushing, because I'm like, okay, Yi is now alive, so I thought, okay, I haven't seen their champions in a while, so they must be coming bottom. But was at least able to grab the tower, and I got some gold for it. I hope that was a successful or a good idea. So since I saw, okay, Yi's bottom, and then we've got both of them here, so we go hard on them. I certainly did not need, looking at it now, it's like I certainly did not need to use my ultimate. I helped Sivir block some of those shots. This definitely seemed like a great fight. 2 of them were out of play, and then we're like, oh look, Yi. Yeah, this definitely felt like, okay, they're definitely throwing this game. Now, I'm wondering if this is where we throw it here. For a little bit. Not the complete game, but I remember Skill Cap saying, you don't want to stay grouped up, you want to push out other lanes. My team continues to push really hard. We did some good damage on the tower, and then I was hoping, okay, they back off, and they do. I go down in the bot lane, I'm like, okay, gonna push this out. So what is my team? It's a 3v4, and my team decides to start Dragon. But I guess they were expecting me to come over and help them. I did not like that fight, so that's why I was running away. And yeah. I should have just kept pushing when I saw like, oh, their team kept pushing. But yeah, if you saw those pings, then you could tell they were not happy with me. But I kept thinking, I'm like, okay, let them keep pursuing. There's no objective here for them. They just needed to keep running. But here I am, pushing the lane, and I do some considerable damage to that tower. So, again, I thought I did really well, but I had no idea where their team was. So I'm like, okay, better get out of here. Thank God I did, because there's Arkshin looking for me. I know at some point we start arguing a little bit, and I should have just muted them. I think I muted our jungler, because he was the one that starts giving me a hard time. But looking at CS, again, not as terrible as I thought. I mean, at least looking back on it now, it's like, okay, you were at least kind of coming back a little bit. I mean, maybe not compared to Arkshin, who was doing a great job not dying, because he had that huge bounty. But here, once again, I'm like, okay, I need to split push, because the wave is in this, I forget what they call it, but we need to be able to push the lane out. But what does my team do? They go in a 4v5. Let's see how the fight goes. So yeah, I see this wave pushed. I'm like, okay, gotta push this wave out. So okay, so our jungler fights their jungler, dies, but they oh my god, there's just so much going on. So Malphite's trying really hard to get them. Sona and Sivir were fighting Yi, but get him, but Sona manages to get that last kill. I know here's coming up another big moment. I keep saying, like, I gotta push this bottom lane. It's in this zone. If the wave is on our side, someone needs to go down and push out the wave. And I'm still trying to catch up and farm as best I can. I'm still worried because I'm like, they just took dragon, so they're somewhere in this bottom jungle. This is that key moment. Gwen comes down to try to push the wave back. So I knew, wait, this is exactly what skill cap said. I need to now group up because it's now going to be a 4v5. Two of our team catches Yi in the jungle. Stun him. Beautiful. Gwen is still down there. Me and Sona are like, oh look, Caitlyn. Ult her, I go hard on her. Arction finally dies. Of all people who gets it, Sona. Probably, it definitely should have gone to somebody else. And then yeah, Gwen shows up. Of course kills me, and then the team gets her. So, at the very least, the two of them push mid. And Sivir at least makes the good call of pushing top. I want to say we over push. He's going hard on Sivir because he knows he can beat her in a 1v1. If you guys follow skill cap, they will tell you dragon is useless. I don't think it's completely useless. I mean, it gives you that small edge, but I know what they're talking about is it shouldn't be the primary thing because that's how you will generally throw games. You'll be in a bad position. But again, I keep saying, I keep trying to follow that advice, going, I need to split push. I need to split push. But I know my team was trying to tell me you need to group with us. And I kept, my brain kept going like, no, don't listen to low elo players. They don't know what they're talking about. But part of me was like, yeah, I do need to group up with them in case we get into a fight that's really important. But then skill cap kept saying I need to go and split push. So my brain was just like, I don't know what to do. So I decided, okay, fine team. So I ult Arction, and I go hard on him. I get him, but I was 1v2ing Caitlyn and Arction. And what ultimately happens? He just cleans up all of us. And so that's where I knew, I'm like, yeah, we can't win in a 5v5. Unless we focus the right people or one of them is so out of position, we just annihilate them and then it becomes a 4v5. But yeah, this is where I was like convinced, like, we're definitely going to lose this game. And I'm like, okay, still need a split push. But I hear Sivir ult and I'm like, oh great, are we really going in again? So I decided, okay, let's go over here. The main thing I went over there is because Caitlyn's over here by herself, which I probably should have gone for her, but I thought, I'm like, this is a 4v5 up here. So primary focus, Yi. We got to kill Yi. He will just easily kill all of us. Once he's dead, then we could at least try to go for a carry. Arction or Caitlyn or Senna. But wow. I mean, looking at myself going, come on, Dom, what are you doing? But I think I do correct myself when I saw, oh, Gwen was low, so I'm like, okay, I'll go help him. And I saw Caitlyn. Oh, Caitlyn's by herself. Well, let's get her. And then, okay, no. Well, since we killed them, and Arction just hiding. Oh yeah, and then they call for Baron. I'm like, this is a bad call, but I come over. I'm like, okay, well, since we're here. And I was worried, and I'm like, well, 3 of them are up, and I don't know, we don't have the damage, we don't even have our marksman with us to help with the damage. And that's scary. Arction was right there, he probably could have, but hey, we got it. They didn't rush over to try to stop us at Baron, so I'm still just like, was that really a good call to make? Do Baron? But I guess that was just because the other team, even though they were back to life, they could have ran straight over. Yeah, Arction knew we were doing it. I'm still just like, I don't think that was the right call. But anyway, I go top, but I'm still nervous because I don't know where their team is. Although, looking at it back, it's like, well, I could see if any of them were coming. In my head, I'm just like, I really should not group up. Skill cap kept saying, don't group up unless you push out a wave, and then you see one of them go over to try to reverse that. So I'm catching up, and I'm like, oh, there's a Caitlyn. So I'm like, okay, I'll go on Caitlyn. She eat away. I ulted. She had that dang, whatever it's called, Zonya'd me basically. And then of course Yi shows up, but all you gotta do is just make sure to stun Yi. And then I was surprised. Sona actually got that kill. I was like, what? Sona, don't chase. But she did. So here we are at the end of the game. Their team basically threw it, and we somehow pull off the win. That definitely blows my mind, because I did not feel like we deserved that. But it's a low elo, and you just know the other team is still that same rank as you, and even they will throw the game quite easily. So yeah, thanks guys for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video. So please like and subscribe, and definitely let me know in the comments what you thought of this video, what you think I should do differently. Really want to see what I could do with this series, and I want to do it on a weekly basis. I know this was only one game. What I want to do is usually like every weekend play a couple of games, and maybe what I'll do differently is just stick to the highlights of the good and the bad. Ultimately, this is what happened, we won or lost, and then go to the next one. Definitely let me know in the comments what you thought about the video. Give me as much feedback as you can. All right, thanks guys.